Joining me today is John Garvey, who's running for the New Hampshire State Senate in District 8. John, every 2 years, New Hampshire deals with its 2-year biennium budget. And should you get elected, that's going to be sort of the first order of business.
Yes.
Talk to me a little bit about sort of your priorities in that budget that you'd have, but also I just want to get a sense on your view on sort of, does the New Hampshire have enough resources to do what it needs to do at the state level? And if not, how do we get those resources? And if so, then what are the priorities?
All right. Well, I'll start by saying that the people of New Hampshire and District 8 have made it clear that they don't want a broad-based tax. So and both people who are running for governor at this point have said they won't support a broad-based tax. So that's off the table.
So no sales, no broad-based income tax, and you believe that's an appropriate starting point, at least.
That's for this next. You're asking me about the next 2-year budget, and that's where we are. We have to deal with what we have without a broad-based tax, and I agree with that approach. What we need to do right now is prioritize, and there are a lot of important things. We've got infrastructure to be concerned about. We have to be concerned about our roads and our bridges and our broadband internet. We obviously have a serious opioid crisis right now. It truly is a crisis. It is 10 years ago to think that we would be second or third, depending on who you read, in the country for per capita
overdoses. Yeah, I mean, you couldn't have conceived that 10 years ago.
Yeah. So there we are, and the question is, what do we do about it? I believe when you look at fiscal policy, the thing you need to really focus on is the difference between investing and spending. For example, if you're going to fix your roof, are you spending money to fix your roof, or are you investing money to keep the rest of your house from needing to be totally overhauled at a later date? There are some things that we as a society are going to pay for. We're either going to pay for them now, or we're going to pay more later. The opioid crisis is one of those examples. We have people, first of all, just the human crisis of the people who are in addiction, the people who are suffering from that, but there's the ripple effect of all the people in their families. There's the foster care aspect that gets involved when the parents wind up either being hospitalized or jailed. There is a ripple effect that is like a ticking time bomb where we're going to be paying for these things 5, 10, even 15 years down the line, because the ripple effect does, in some instances, take a while to show up. But we need to invest in what works. We need to make that a priority because, as I said, we're going to pay for that sooner or later.
So that's the part of the budget. What are other priorities beside
infrastructure? I think that we need to make sure we only have at the present time, again, the numbers move a little bit, but we have a 2.8% unemployment rate. That sounds good, but one of the issues is for business, for the high-tech businesses in particular, they're not getting people who are trained, who stay in the state, who have the ability to do some of the jobs that would be available but for the fact that we're lacking the people. So we need to offer better training programs, more training programs.
Is that through the community college system?
That's one really good way to do it. And the public-private partnership, I think, there are some excellent examples of that right now, like Hypertherm and Dartmouth-Hitchcock, where they're actually working with the community college system to train people for jobs that will be available to them when they get done with the training in the community college level. So
we got about 30 seconds on the budget segment, and there's been a lot of talk about downshifting. And I know our pension plan in the state looks to be underfunded. Those taxes are going to go into the towns and to the counties. Does the state need to take more leadership there?
I think the state should take leadership, yes, to the extent of how that should work. I think that, again, going back to my mediation skills, I'm more interested in what is in the best interest of New Hampshire and how do you allocate those resources. So I would like to see it become less of a them and the opponents, and having the towns and the counties see themselves at odds and more as a situation of where do we get the resources and how do we prioritize them among the different agencies and county government.
Okay, and we're out of time in this segment. When we return, we're going to continue our conversation, focusing on a number of issues, so please stay with us.